ready for another playoff run.
256-234-6221 if you've got some questions for us. We're just getting started here on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Brett and Scott will be with you from 6 to 9 tonight. They'll head over to the television station and bring you Sports Blitz live throughout the state of Alabama on Charter Channel 80 and Channel 3 here in the Lake Martin region. We got a great turnout out here in downtown Alexander City. Let's hope that a lot of you will find your way down and support these great local businesses. Shop local. So important that you do that, keeping those tax dollars here in this community, not only for the businesses, but for the school system and for everything that goes on in the local community. So I want to tip my hat to leadership here for making the decision to turn a page and give everyone an opportunity to do the right thing and to help these businesses downtown that we've been hearing from for years. Create some kind of entertainment, create some type of environment that'll bring people downtown and bring their hard-earned dollars downtown. And I said it as we started off, Scott, it's been mind-blowing how many people have been in and out of here so far this afternoon.
And that's the thing, and there hadn't been one blimp at all, and I'm looking to see that continues tonight. Again, first annual poker walk here in downtown Alexander City, already a great crowd here at JR Sports Bar and Grill.
Talked a little bit about the soccer program. Let's talk about the baseball program. 12-3 mark on the season, is that correct? And they move into area play, and boy, got a tough draw here in the opening week of area play to take on Opelika. But I'm super impressed with this team because it's a very young team. But Richie Brooks does as good a job with our program as anybody does in the state.
Yeah, and you look at it, they've been power behind the pitching of Whit Green, who is somebody who has taken up the slack without Sean right there, but have some guys like Corley Woods coming back into the rotation now. Look forward to seeing what he'll be able to do. But the bats are the thing that really surprised me. Marquise Odom is somebody from the top of the lineup playing center field who has definitely been a main contributor in the lineup. So they've been able to get the bats going, and as area play gets ready to set off, you want to make sure that continues headed into area play.
256-234-6221 is our phone number. Just getting started here on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Going to go ahead and take our first break here as we're live on location at JR Sports Bar and Grill. Love for you to come out. We'll have some wrestlers coming up here to be part of the program with us in the next little bit. Hopefully Richard Wagner with Main Street Alexander City will be able to also come by and be a guest as they talk about this poker walk that's going on in the JR's area, or excuse me, in the downtown area here in Alexander City. More of the Sports Blitz, Lake Martin Sports Roundup right after this.
All teams need players that can fill the positions as
back to you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show. Brett Pritchard and Scott Hardy here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. It's it's an understatement to say it's a big night here in Alex City downtown. It's packed in here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. A lot of stuff going to be going on throughout the central part of Alex City as we have the poker walk going on. It's St. Patrick's Day, so many specials going on out here. We just did the tournament draw. All the teams are gone, and they went fast, Scott. I mean, there were so many people in here. That's the quickest. That's the quickest that the teams have ever gone. You and I, usually it takes the entire show to get the teams drawn out, and you and Randy were on the air for about 10 minutes, and all the teams are gone. So we started a little bit before y'all went on the air during sports call, but got all the teams selected now. And, of course, all everybody wants to know is who drew Kentucky. Brad Easterwood, of all people, drew Kentucky. So so Brad Easterwood will be riding Kentucky to the national title game, he hopes. So there are a lot of different teams out there that have a shot at it, but, it's kind of Kentucky and everybody else, Scott. So it's kind of a unique tournament. I can't remember a basketball tournament going in where it was so heavily favored on one team, and then everybody's like, well, they got a shot if Kentucky plays bad. Reminds me of UNLV in 91. UNLV going in at 34-0. They were the dominant team, and it was like everybody else was an afterthought, and Duke was able to play good enough that night to win. But it took UNLV the last 3.5 minutes of that game kind of just blowing it. They just kind of went into a shell. Greg Anthony fouled out, and it just kind of set things in motion for UNLV to go in a downward spiral. And they ended up losing to Duke 79-77. So it can be done. I mean, you can go back through and you can look at all the different teams that have had a shot or were real dominant and had a chance to win, and they just couldn't do it. They fell under the pressure. Everybody's wondering if that's going to happen to Kentucky. What's your thoughts on it?
I don't necessarily think that they'll fall under the pressure because I think they felt it all season. Now, obviously, it's intensified and amplified as you get ready to go for the NCAA tournament, but they've faced some great competition this year, and they've gotten everybody's best shot. That's something that not every team can say. Everybody who's played Kentucky this season has gotten their best shot. The thing with Kentucky, two things. One, they're so long, and I don't know any other team in the country that can defend the perimeter like they'll be able to do, and you won't be able to go on the inside either. But the second thing really is the fact that their second team would be able to beat most teams' first teams. And so that's two things, testament to the ability for Coach Calipari to make sure that he has guys buying into his system who don't play a lot of minutes, only 20, 25 minutes a game for his starters. But when you have guys like an Anthony Davis now who's in the NBA, who's a top 3 player who only averaged 8 or 9 points at playing for Kentucky, to see what he's able to do now further lets you know what Kentucky's doing. But I'm with you. Right now, I can't see any other team being as hot or as good right now as Kentucky.
If we were in church league basketball, they'd have 2 teams. All right, that back in the old days, Kentucky'd have a red team and a blue team, or the older guys and the younger guys. However, when we had church league going,
were you part of those teams that had to be broken up?
Of course, man. Of course, the elite and the non-elite. So that was the way we did it. So, but anyway, that's kind of what it would be compared. That's how good they are. You're right. You could take that second team. And I heard some conversation about Kentucky the other day, and they said the reason Kentucky's so good is because who they practice against. The reason the Harrison twins have picked their game up and played because they've got to go against Euless. They got to go against the guys that are considered the second team. And like you said, most anybody else in the country would love to have Kentucky's second team, and they'd start for them. So crazy stuff. But here tonight is the central focus here in Alex City, downtown, JR Sports Bar and Grill, little black dress, up and down Main Street. You come in, a lot of people registered for this poker walk. There's been a ton of people in and out of little black dress getting their card. I'll have to say that I got off to a good start. I got two face cards. Now I've turned it over to my trusty friend Randy, because me and you got to go, unless you're going to stick a mannequin over here in place of me. He's got to go finish the poker walk because my wife's taking Braden to baseball practice and picking my daughter up from dance. So there's a lot going on. If you don't think there's a lot going on out at City, your head is in the sand like an ostrich. So we got a lot going on, and, it's all up to Randy now whether I win something or not. So
Well,
I can't get the worst. I can. I guess I could still get the worst hand technically, but
Lees are winners. I don't know if everybody out there knew that.
Oh, here we go.
But Lees are winners, so I'm sure you have a good.
I handed
chance
the
at
card
that.
off to him because I got faith in him. So I can't go wrong there. But we'd love to hear from you. Beautiful, good Lord bless us with outstanding weather. Of course, if you wait 24 hours, it'll change. And coming in Wednesday night, we're gonna have back to the normal gloomy pouring rain for about 4 days. So get out and take advantage of this. You know, the new ordinance in downtown Alex City, which allows us to have an entertainment district. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. And I'm getting some texts from people that are listening to the show right now that are excited about this, Scott. I mean, it's kind of a groundbreaking day. I hate to say it, but for Alex City, this is new for everybody, and it just shows that our city government and everybody has embraced and are on board. And you don't have to participate in every event. You don't have to like every event. But what it does is it gives your community options to be able to do all types of different things and to be able to fit any type of age group. They're going to be things for youth all the way up to older adults and in between middle age. Our YP group, young professionals. I just saw almost every one of them come through. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be classified as a young professional. At YP, I'm an OP, and it ain't Ocean Pacific either. So there's a lot of us in that group. But it was good to see a bunch of those YP group come through, and now they moved on up the street. And wherever they end up tonight, it's going to be fun. I promise you. So if you want to find something fun to do, you can just follow that group. But there's a lot of we got the wrestlers in here tonight. They had a successful season. Just so proud of what our programs have done, our youth programs. It's a good night for our town, Scott.
Yeah, and again, we just want to say how thankful we are for having businesses like JR's who will provide the opportunity for us to enjoy things like this. And this is what you want to look for when you have events like this. Are they going to be supported? And the members of the Alex City community have definitely done so. And you talked about it with a community we're not that large of a community, but we have so many different types of people. So when you provide people with different things to do, you see this type of interaction. So I'm glad to see that everyone's coming out and supporting such a great event.
And you can't even get in the door right now. Strand Park across the road here is a beautiful place to go and hang out. We're going to take a break, Scott. When we come back, we'll continue to discuss the events for today. That's what we're going to concentrate on, is highlight what's going on down here in downtown Alex City. You want to be part of it. If you weren't able to get a hand for the poker walk, just come down and be part of the festivities because, trust me, you'll enjoy it. Stay tuned. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup presented by JR's right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Brett Pritchard and Scott Hardy with you for about another 30 minutes or so here at JR's. Then you and I will slide over to Sports Blitz Live from 7 to 9. A ton to talk about over there as we had Selection Sunday. So we'll predominantly be focusing on the NCAA basketball tournament. And everybody goes, well, how long is that going to take because it's Kentucky and everybody else? I think there's some good subplots in this deal. Scott, and some teams that'll have an opportunity to really shine. And if they can get going at the right time, they'll have a shot to win the whole thing. And, now, again, Kentucky is definitely the favorite when they walk on the floor against anybody in the country. But that doesn't mean that they're completely invincible. They got to play these games. You got to go back and look at some of these teams that, like, UNLV, the Wichita States, the Indiana States, some of the Duke teams of the past, North Carolina's that everybody thought had it locked up before the tournament started, and they were disappointed. So it's going to be fun. That's why March Madness is so fun to watch, and we've got the big board up here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. And you can be part – actually, you can't be part of it anymore because all the teams are gone. So looking forward to seeing how that happens. The play-in games will be tonight. Some of those play-in games tonight and tomorrow. You got Manhattan and Hampton and Ole Miss and BYU. So, let me ask you a question about these play-in games and some of the way they do this. Is it getting too watered? I mean, and Luke is the biggest proponent of this, against all this, should a Hampton at 16 and 17 even have a chance to get in this tournament? I mean, I'm not an Alabama fan. But Alabama did finish in the plus side, and they did win 18 ball games. Why is Hampton having a shot at it when Alabama plays a much tougher schedule? And I mean, do you see where I'm going with it?
No, I mean, I understand it, and definitely there are some ways that you could reevaluate the seeding. And I'm with Luke. I don't necessarily like the play-in games, but it gives a school like a Hampton or Manhattan another opportunity to play. But you know what's happening in the next game. But the way it's been structured this year, I'm not real sure that some of these teams should have to play an 11 seed team to get in. It's not the way it used to be, where you would get just the number 1 seed automatically would play in the play-in game. And so now you're looking at teams that have an opportunity to disrupt some things per se. But
I'm going to pull over here to the East bracket and look at this matchup in the first round. Virginia, who is the number 2 seed over there, been in the top 5 all year, is taking on Belmont at 22 and 10. They're a 15 seed. Now, Virginia's got to be thinking, what kind of 15 seed is Belmont? I mean, you look at kind of what Belmont's been able to do over the last few years in the tournament. They've got a 22 and 10 record. I mean, Virginia has shown some signs this year of playing pretty poor. Their defense has saved them quite a bit. Their offense struggles a lot, from time to time. And, Belmont's a team that can shoot. They usually do a pretty good job of recruiting. And I'm eyeing that 15-2 up that matchup in the first round. I'm not saying Virginia's dead in the water, but that's a tough draw for Virginia for having such a good season.
Yeah, and in the tournament, 2 things I always talk about: your guard play and your head coach. And that's definitely something that a lot of these mid-major teams have. They have the ability to score, especially from the guard position. And so when Calipari talked about it in the SEC tournament, the players talked about a team like Auburn who had a KT Harron, had a Mason who could do some scoring. So they wanted to prepare themselves for teams that had the ability to score on them, because if you're Kentucky, the thing that separates them from everybody else is their defense. Now, everybody will talk about the amount of scores that they have and how long they are, but they play extremely great defense. And so when you're able to lock down like that, it compensates for a night when maybe your scores aren't there. Maybe one of the Harrison twins aren't hitting for threes. And that's the other thing. If you're going to beat a team like Kentucky, you have to hit from the perimeter. And that's not something that I see any of the brackets, or anybody in their matchup. Outside of, I think Notre Dame's my little sleeper pick there. They're not going to beat Kentucky, but I think they'll give them a nice run to get into the Final Four.
I think you're right, and it'll be interesting to see. Let me give a shout-out to our very own Ronnie Stacy from Alexander City. Just got this text from our good friend Jeff Hines, the head basketball coach of Benjamin Russell. Ronnie Stacy in the junior college national tournament today, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 14 assists, and 7 steals in 2 games. They lost today to top seed Connor State, 79-62. But congratulations, Ronnie Stacy. Was a great player here at Benjamin Russell. Knew he would move on to do really well. He's in JUCO now playing, and again, had a great tournament. Made it to the national tournament and put on a show there. good things to come for Ronnie in basketball.
And he definitely his play throughout the season progressed extremely well. You could see that early on he wasn't really getting the same amount of playing time as he got toward the end of the season, and that's indicative of the play that he had. But I know Coach Hines and the rest of the Elk City community, as supporters of the Wildcats, really love what Ronnie was able to do this season.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call, 256-234-6221 to be part of the show. Just give us your thoughts on what's going on here in Elk City tonight. I mean, it's a great opportunity to come out and be part of the festivities, and JR's has been full here since we've been here. A lot of great teams in here right now. We've got the wrestlers in here from Benjamin Russell, the middle school. So a lot of great kids that we've seen and had up here as part of this program. Everybody coming in that pre-registered for the poker walk has gone or still continuing to go to Little Black Dress, pick up their sheet, draw a card there, then come over here, draw a card, and there's several other spots along the way. You draw a card, and in your hand, however it plays out, there'll be prizes for the best hand, worst hand, and several in between. So excited about that. Just a lot going on. Again, blessed to have beautiful weather for tonight. It's just a gorgeous time. It's a fun time to be in downtown Alexander City. Stay tuned. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show presented by JR's right after this.
Central Alabama Community College is proud to be one of Alabama's
Two, one.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill. 25 minutes or so left in tonight's program. It's a great crowd up here at JR's Sports Bar and Grill, downtown Out City. St. Patty's Day. You and I both have green on, so no pinching for us or no us getting pinched. Now we can still pinch somebody, but we don't have to. We don't have to worry about getting pinched because we got our green on. But it's a great day that was planned by a lot of players here. in the city of Alex City, and right here in downtown Alex City, being able to be part of the poker walk and the new ordinance that was passed a few weeks ago with the city council. The entertainment district now has allowed people to get out and about and have a good time and go from business to business and take part in events like this, Scott. Again, the good Lord blessed us with beautiful weather for this event. And it's a come and go deal. Everywhere you want to go, you can go here and you can come here to eat, JR Sports Bar and Grill, and then you can walk all over the community and take advantage of the different things going on. But it is St. Patrick's Day. We have the March Madness draws. Usually takes an all show to do this, and we did it in about 15 minutes. And you look up here on the board, and you see the matchups. We got the big tournament bracket up here. The Final Four will be in Indianapolis, Indiana, April 4th through the 6th. So looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Will it be Kentucky, and will they cruise? Will they have a game that they struggle? So let's look at the bracket, Scott, and let's see how this could break down, and just kind of go ahead and break this down for everybody. Of course, they'll win their first game, whoever it is, the unlucky winner of that Hampton. Man, if I was Manhattan or Hampton, it wouldn't matter to me if I lost tonight or not. Then you got to go play Kentucky and get killed. I mean, that right there could be a tournament record of points if they wanted it to be like that. So they'll move on and advance. I've got Purdue over Cincinnati in a 9. That's a 9 over an 8 there. I think it's going to be a good game. Don't really think it matters. It's about like Hampton and Manhattan. Whoever moves on out of that, they'll have to face Kentucky. And then they move on down and play the winner of West Virginia, Buffalo, or Maryland, Valparaiso. So that grouping right there, anybody with a smidget of a chance against Kentucky.
Negative.
So who makes it to the third round to play Kentucky? Will it be West Virginia or Maryland?
I had Maryland advancing past West Virginia and taking on Kentucky. You look at I think the bottom part of the bracket is where they would have the most competition there, and you're circling the Notre Dame for those at home, and they finished 29-5. They just won the ACC tournament. That's my sneaky pick. I think Kansas really could lose to Wichita State in around the 32, but I think they would move on and take on Notre Dame in the Sweet 16.
I really like that Notre Dame team to play Kentucky here and have a chance at making an interesting
Watch
game.
Texas, though. That is a team.
Well, I've got Texas over Butler in the first round, too.
That's a team that could definitely scare some people, but I just can't see anybody.
All right, so we get Notre Dame. You like that? Notre Dame to Kentucky.
Elite 8 was
all right, Elite 8. All right, let's say they give them a fight. They move on. Kentucky moves on. Out of the bottom part, the West bracket, who do you have coming out of that? Is it going to be Arizona? Is it Wisconsin? Is it somebody else other than that? Is it a 3 seed? Is it a Baylor? Is it somebody else? A North Carolina at a 4 seed have a chance to make it out? Does Arkansas get hot and they make a run here? I mean, who do you like out of this bottom bracket to come meet Kentucky?
I really like Arizona. Obviously, Wisconsin was deserving of a number 1, but I think that Arizona possibly could have pushed out maybe Villanova and from getting the number 1 seed there. So Arizona was who I had coming out, but that was one of the few where I think I had the 1 and 2 seeds playing each other going for the Final Four.
So we got Kentucky getting past Notre Dame in the Midwest to face in the West bracket here in the Final Four, Arizona over Wisconsin to get there. So Arizona versus Kentucky for a spot in the national championship. Can Arizona get it done?
They really play
31-3 now.
I just can't. I don't think that they're good enough on the perimeter to beat a team like Kentucky. They have pretty good interior play. They have some great post players, but I don't think they can do what's needed on the perimeter to win the game. So
Kentucky's in.
Kentucky is in.
So there's the path to Kentucky. So we feel like, I mean, I hate to say that it's easy, but and then they're going to have some game. I really tell you that, you know, the game to watch is Notre Dame. I mean, I watched them in that ACC championship against North Carolina, and North Carolina was up 11, Scott, and all of a sudden they went on a 22-2 run and blew North Carolina out coming down the street. North Carolina was in control. They're playing in home territory. The crowd, Notre Dame had hardly no fans there, and they just took over. And that team is a dangerous team. It was fun to finally get a chance to see that team. So on the flip side over here, you got East and South bracket. Up in the top, Villanova and Virginia. In the bottom down here in the South, you got Duke and Gonzaga. The only team in the hunt from the state of Alabama is UAB. So let me tip my hat to UAB, making it in as a 14 seed to have to play Iowa State. It is a tough matchup. Hey, they made it in, so it's more than what Auburn, Alabama fans can say. That's for sure. So I like Duke coming out of the bottom. A lot of people like Gonzaga coming out. So we'll see how that plays. At the top, Villanova, Virginia. I'm going to go with Villanova over Virginia. I just don't think Villanova I don't think Virginia has enough offensive firepower.
Yeah, and the injuries late over the last couple of weeks have definitely hurt them. Now in the ACC, there was enough depth to at least make it to the quarterfinal game or semifinals. I'm not real positive there, but I think that Villanova. And this was the bracket where I thought that some teams might have been a little underseeded. A team like Michigan State, who definitely has the pedigree behind Izzo. You also look at a team like Oklahoma, who's number 3, who could really make a little match there. Louisville, I think, is the most overrated team in the tournament.
Most overrated
team in the tournament. I think they have some talent there, but they go with
not worthy of a 4 seed.
Not worthy of a 4 seed. They definitely could have been dropped back more. The thing with Louisville that hurts them, I think, when you get ready to face a team like a Villanova or a team like a Oklahoma or Virginia where they have to score, they can't do so. They're one of the worst shooting teams. They've lost 4 out of their last 8 games, so I just can't see Louisville really advancing too far.
All right, so here we got –
we're both good on Villanova. I had Villanova.
You got Villanova and Duke.
Yeah.
Do you have Duke or Gonzaga?
I had Duke. Duke.
So Villanova and Duke. A great game. Who makes it?
I think you're going to see April 6th, Duke versus
Kentucky.
And I
truly think those are the 2 best teams.
Those are the 2 best teams. And I know I talked about it on Sports Call. I called in. They were talking a little bit about Duke. And I definitely will say this is one of the few years where I will agree with a lot of the Duke haters out there where this tournament was semi-crafted for them to go ahead and go. They start out, they really shouldn't have been a 1 seed either. A lot of people were a little disappointed in them because they didn't win the regular season.
You think
title.
Gonzaga deserved the number 1 seed over Duke?
They could have definitely got it because they didn't win the regular season or conference title.
I'm not worried either way. If you're Duke or Gonzaga, you're not worried about where you're seated there.
But I think Iowa State, I did have Iowa State taking out Gonzaga in the Sweet 16 or lead. I guess that would have been a lead 8 somewhere around there, Sweet 16. But I usually have a lot of maybe the couple 12-5s or 11-5 or 11-6 matchup. I don't think there are going to be a lot of upsets in this one because for the most part, the parity level in this bracket isn't really that much. You have Kentucky, and then everybody else is kind of similar. So anybody could get beat. So I'm going to go with the higher seeded team in a lot of these games.
Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and take a break here on the Late Martin Sports Roundup Show. When we come back, we'll get ready to close this out here. Scott may close this out a little bit early here tonight. It's so crowded up here at JR's, which is an outstanding thing. Don't get me wrong. It's an outstanding thing. We got a lot of people in here. Got all the wrestlers in here tonight. It's just the party room's full. Upstairs is full. You got people coming in, getting their cards, drawing their cards for the poker walk. It is St. Patrick's Day, so there's a lot of specials going on, a lot of green in the house. Green beer specials are on tap here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. So excited. So what we'll do, we'll come back, have one more break, and we'll cut out, give us a little bit of an extended downtime between now and Sports Blitz Live, Scott. So stay tuned. More of the Late Martin Sports Roundup Show presented by JR's right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Box with Vice Motor. In all sports, it takes hard work, passion, and teamwork. That's how we have treated our customers for over
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. You got to like it when you have to bring another table in. Good to fit everybody in here. But the wrestlers here, Benjamin Russell, a couple state champions right here to our left. We've had them on the program already this year. But been a pretty doggone good year for Benjamin Russell Athletics. I mean, football team, a basketball team. I mean, you look at what the baseball team's doing now. 12-3, right, Scott?
Yes,
Just come off wins of Central Clay and Cleburne County. Pretty dominant, both of those games. And now they open up area play with Kowaliga, which is an outstanding team, one of the better teams in the state. But Benjamin Russell 12-3. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and the thing is, we kind of hit it on the first break, or excuse me, the first segment, was the fact that they've gotten some great pitching early on, and that's something that I was a little worried about. I didn't really think the bats would be that big of an issue, especially with Sean Rape going down. And then Corley Woods got hurt as well, so they weren't at full strength on the mound, but they've been able to hold their own. And as you said, area play starts for them now. They travel to Opelika tonight, and they will host Opelika for a doubleheader on Thursday at the Sportsplex, so make sure you go out and support them.
Absolutely. Again, downtown Alexander City, we have an outstanding event going on. Had all of our wrestlers in here in JRs, but a lot of people been in and out of here throughout tonight. You got the poker walk going on. You got obviously St. Patrick's Day with all the green going on, all the specials going on here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. You just made a note. You want to talk about Kendall Graveman.
Yeah.
And what he's doing. Talking about green, the Oakland A's on fire right now.
Yeah, and you talk about green. They're green with envy. A lot of teams are green with envy now that they didn't keep him. I've seen a lot of message boards where the Toronto Blue Jays were a little late. Their fans were a little late in getting to know who Kendall was, and now the fact that he's doing so well, somebody that was
why in the world after the year he had would you even think about trading him?
That was the crazy thing. Now, granted, Josh Donaldson is a premier third baseman, and they got a great talent. But Billy Bean himself, who understands the value of play, anybody who's familiar with Moneyball understands Billy Bean, but he handpicked Kendall. He asked about – that was one of the players he asked about. And now
that's got to be pretty awe-inspiring if you're Kendall right now. To have a guy – they made a movie about how Billy Bean did it so different than the big money guys. He didn't have as much to work with. But he found ways to win by using a system and going out and finding players that fit his system. And to have this guy that's so renowned in baseball now, knowing how to get it done, to handpick you, that's got to be an honor.
Yeah, and they've been calling him kind of a politician out there because they asked him about that yesterday, about, where do he think his shot was to really make the rotation. And it went from he was a guy that was on the fringe of the fifth starter spot to now possibly the number 3 spot in the rotation. So, and he was very complimentary of Billy Bean and the type of team that he had put together. So there are already so many stories have been written about him on the West Coast. And again, we definitely are so proud of Kendall. I know his dad and his mom have had an opportunity to go out and watch some of the spring training games, and I know they've enjoyed that. He actually got to take a picture with Will Ferrell when Will Ferrell did his thing. So he's living the dream right now, and so we can't be more.
He better be hoping it's not a dream. I hope it's a career.
Not. And it's going to be. I think. And you look at it today. It was either today or yesterday. I can't remember when he pitched, but he went 4.2 innings yesterday. He went 4.2 innings.
Is his ERA below 1?
0.93, if I'm not mistaken. I saw yesterday. So he's only giving up 1 run. Now, granted, it's only in a little less than 10 innings, but that's something that Kendall has been doing
at the major league level.
Yeah. So Kendall's got a.
We're talking about less than 1, Scott. that's unbelievable. So, hey, congratulations to him. Just a few weeks ago, sitting right over here, about 4 booths down with his dad and some friends, Wayne Culligan, some guys over here. Been on this show a million times. Great guy. Just have enjoyed watching him grow up. Got a great family. Coach Graveman. My son loved Coach Graveman when he was over there at Stevens, and he just relates so well. Hard working.
That's the thing. Every article that has been written has talked about his work ethic.
Just grinds after it and stays after it, and so many positive things happening for Kendall. We are definitely huge fans here. Scott, we're going to get out of JR's. This place is packed. It's awesome. You come be part of it. They have room for you. You need to be part of this. All the stuff going on, the poker walk, everything that's involved down here. If you don't have a hand in it, literally, if you don't have a hand in it, just come out and take part of it and enjoy the festivities. But for Scott Hardy, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it here for the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show. Sports Blitz coming up at 7 o'clock. Keep it right here, 97.5.